Hey, what's going on, guys? I am live now, and I wanted to, I wanted to go live for a minute to talk about something I just saw in the media that really is interesting to me because I think it's speaking to the growing political influence of intelligent Black people, like the people who follow this platform and others, and follow people like Tariq Nasheed and stuff like that. Um, you guys know that we were kind of among the first to really start pushing the reparations agenda, right? And to really start talking about this. And Tariq, has the hashtag tangibles 2020. Dr. Claude Anderson has the hashtag us too. Yvette and Tone had the hashtag ADOS, which I think has a lot of potential. I just hope that we understand the importance of working together to really, make this thing go as far as it can go. And so that got the media talking about reparations. Well, I just saw a story today that's really, really funny. I was reading the Washington Post and the New York Times, and basically Bernie Sanders went to a black church in South Carolina, y'all. I mean, he went to a black church in South Carolina, which should be filled with black people. Black people, with church hats, and they find this Sunday, suits, all screaming "Amen" as he eats barbecue chicken with the pastor, and almost no black people came. Literally, out of 1,600 people that were at the rally, only about 40 of them were black. I think that says a lot. I think that speaks to what Sanders is appearing to be to black people. And I have some analysis on that in terms of why I believe that to be the case. As I move forward, please hit the thumbs up button. And somebody asks, is this live? Super mega. It doesn't even matter if it's live. Even if it was a recording, I'm still saying the same shit. So who cares if it's live? But yes, I am live. But even if I wasn't live, that don't mean you shouldn't listen. This is, if it's valuable, it's valuable, whether it's live or a recording. So just pay attention, damn it, pay attention. Anyway, so what you doing up? Coming from the club? Yeah, I was out the club all night. Just getting my drinky drink on and popping bottles. Putting $100 bills in stripper thongs. You know how I do. You know how we do it. Anyway, so Bernie Sanders. Yeah, I mean he's getting dragged. Who was it? What was it? Elizabeth Warren had the same issue where she spoke in. It was in Greenville, South Carolina, in particular, that they went to, where this happened, where black people just are not feeling them. And I have a couple of theories on this. One theory that I have is that black people are waking up. They're dealing with a woker group of people than they've dealt with in the past. I think that I don't think they respect black voters. I think that they expect black voters to be stupid. They expect us to just vote just as an exercise. And like Dr. Claude Anderson said, he comes in on drboystv.com every Thursday. And Dr. Anderson said, if you want exercise, take your fat ass to the gym. Like if you want exercise, go run around the block, but don't exercise or vote just because it's an exercise. Like you vote because you're going to get something in exchange for your vote. If you're not going to get anything in exchange for your vote, it is not sacrilegious to say I'm just not voting. That's and that's the thing we were fighting against, because there's so many black people out here spreading misinformation, because these people are being paid, they're being well taken care of, or many of them are brainwashed, and they're telling you that voting should just be something black people just do just because. And I say no, you don't vote just because. You use your vote strategically, and if a candidate doesn't earn your vote, you don't give them your vote. It's like telling a little girl, well, you got to go fuck somebody. You might as well have sex with him. It's like, and she might say, no, I'm going to wait for a good man that treats me well, and I'll be abstinent until I find the person that respects me. Well, I think the same thing is true for the black voter. We are not political sluts. We are not economic sluts. You shouldn't be giving your dollars and giving your votes to people who don't love you. That's real love rule number one. And so I think that with the Democratic Party, you're seeing them having to address the fact that black voters are just more intelligent than they were before. That's one theory that I had in mind in terms of why black voters are shifting their thought process. Hit the thumbs up button, please, real quick. Please hit the thumbs up button if you just came in. The second theory that crossed my brain is black media. I believe that the new black media is really throwing a monkey wrench in everything they're trying to do. Before you just had regular news. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you had ABC, NBC, CBS, stuff like that. Then CNN started pulling up on the scene which gave them cable news to confront or to deal with. Then there's the divided news with commentary, Fox versus MSNBC, kind of being the two superpowers of media. Well, now you have black media emerging with lots of black people who don't even watch mainstream media anymore. I know a lot of black people who don't watch MSNBC anymore. They don't watch Fox News. They go and they listen to people like myself, or they'll listen to Vicky Dillard, or they'll listen to Phil over at the Advice Show. He has over 1.1 million subscribers. Or they'll go to the African History Network with Michael Imhotep, where he has over 1 million people on their page. And so the thing about black people is that we're not that big of a percentage of the population. We're only about 13% of the population. So reaching 1 million black people is like reaching 6 to 8 million white people, right? So a network on television would have to have about 6 to 8 million white people in its viewership to match the impact that you have from just reaching 1 million black people. So my 330,000 subscribers, which actually is just one YouTube channel that we actually have 2 or 3. We have close to 500,000 total. Well, that 500,000 is equivalent to about, maybe I'd say about 3 to 4 million if you're talking about like a white platform. So when I compare what we have, say, our 500,000 subscribers to what we'd have if we were white, the numbers are like in the millions, right? So you can't ignore platforms that are that big. We're not the biggest platforms in the world, but the platforms are big enough that they're making an impact. And there are millions of people listening to people like me, whether they like it or not. There are people listening to Tariq Nasheed, whether they like it or not. There are people listening to Michi X, Vicky Dillard, all kinds of Yvette Carnell. I mean, there are a lot of people out here that are being listened to. And what happens is that the Democratic Party, the way they function is they function with the arrogance that comes with white supremacy. And that arrogance is that when they want to hear from black people, they listen. Jason Black, that's another one. That's my homeboy. I talk to Jason about once every 6 months, but that's my brother. Love that guy. And what happens is, they hear from us, when they want to hear from us, right? They hear from us when it's relevant to them. Like, so they'll hear from black people when they want to hear their favorite rap song, or they'll hear from black people. I was watching an HBO documentary called The Inventor, and I was talking to Alicia, and I said, did you notice that there's hardly any black people anywhere in this documentary? Like, look at that room. There's 200 employees in that room, and not one of them are black. But then when black people came into the picture, it was like they started playing rap songs. They started playing "You Can't Touch This," and all the white people were dancing to MC Hammer. And then there's another time where there's a black secretary, and I said, you notice that black people are visible to them when we are relevant to whatever it is that they're trying to do, or when we're relevant to what they want from us, right? So they're like, look, we want music from you, we want entertainment from you, or we want service from you. We want you to be our servants. At that point, we don't want to hear from you anymore. So it's sort of like when the Fox commentator said to LeBron James, "Just shut up and dribble." Well, that's what they say to black people. Just shut up and entertain us, nigga. Just shut up and serve us. Just shut up and vote. Just shut up and vote. And that's what the Democratic Party has been saying to black people for the longest time. Just shut up and vote. And so what that means is that when it's time for something to be said, when it's time for facts to be laid on the table, when it's time for analysis to be done, there you go, shut up and buy. There you go, hurry up and buy. Like that Asian lady in the Menace to Society movie, hurry up and buy, right? Shut up and vote, shut up and dribble, shut up and entertain me, shut up and serve me, right? That's what they want, right? So when it's time to make critical decisions, when they're shaping policy, their attitude is, we don't need the niggas no more. We don't need black. We don't want to hear from black people anymore who have independent thoughts. So when for example, when they're talking about black economics, they're gonna, they're either, if you're not a black person who is in line with their agenda, like an Al Sharpton, who carried water for Obama all those years, then they don't want you at the table. All those years you're talking about black economics, and you had Dr. Claude Anderson, arguably the greatest economic mind in the history of this country, one of the greatest, right there in the city, and you not once invited him to the White House. You not once invited him to one of your economic meetings. If you don't invite people like him to the meeting, then you ain't serious about solving the problem. You're not listening. You're not listening for black people that are going to add diversity of thought to the conversation. You want to live in a big white fucking echo chamber. That's what you want. Because in your mind, you're telling black people, shut up and vote. Shut up and do what I tell you. Shut up and buy. Shut up and support me. And then after you get their support, you don't want to hear what they have to say. So that's why you'll see these people on these platforms, on these white media platforms, to their detriment, and they will try to act like, Tariq Nasheed doesn't exist. So Tariq will go say some shit online. He'll say it to 500,000 people, and they'll literally act like they didn't hear it. You heard every ounce of that shit. You heard it, and you're acting like you didn't hear it because you want to pretend like people like that are beneath you. You heard Vicky Dilla do a video that was seen by tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, but you want to act like she didn't even talk. Why? Well, because in your mind, she's not a relevant enough Negro for you to give her your attention, right? And to their detriment, what's happening is while they may act like people like us don't exist, the public is not acting like we don't exist. While you're sitting over there acting like nothing's happening and no conversations being had, we're over here shifting the whole damn narrative. And I'm sitting there thinking, wow, if I really cared about getting black votes, I would probably get on the phone and find out what I have to do to get in tune with what black people are talking about. Because right now you're looking very out of touch. And that's the general idea. The Democratic Party is out of touch with black folks. They don't understand. I don't know. I haven't told y'all this, but do you know when Charlemagne and Envy at the Breakfast Club were interviewing Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Bernie Sanders and asking them questions about the black agenda, and every single one of them went on the show and made it look like complete asses, look like fools? They don't understand. Like, Charlemagne was texting me and asking me, what kinds of questions do you think I should ask them? Right? He was, so we were talking. I said, okay, ask them this, and ask them this, ask them this, and ask them this. Now, there's probably other people we talked to also, but I'm sitting there thinking, so, you don't understand that the people that are making you look like idiots because they're asking you questions that you're not prepared for, they're getting their questions from people that you want to pretend like these people don't exist. You can't ask for the black vote anymore and expect to get a vast majority of black people supporting your cause when you refuse to acknowledge people like a Dr. Claude Anderson. So what I would generally say is that none of this surprises me. I'm just pleasantly surprised that it happened sooner. I knew it was eventually going to happen, but I'm pleasantly surprised that it's happening sooner than we expected. I think that Bernie Sanders, if you listen to the way he answers the questions, I don't think even he is capable of understanding why and how he is a white supremacist. I don't think he sees it. I don't think he understands that black folks, I believe a lot of black folks are, hip to the idea of trickle down politics, right? Trickle down politics or trickle down racial politics is basically where white people get a bunch of stuff for themselves, the bunch of things that matter to them, and then they explain to us why this should be trickling down to us as black people. That why as black people we should be happy that white people got all these great things because now we're going to give them some of what they got. And it just doesn't work. It reminds me when I was a little kid and I was told, I had this chance to go get some money from the church. I had won a contest, and it's a stupid contest, but the winner got to put his hand in a jar of pennies, and I got to pull a bunch. And they told me I could reach in and pull as many pennies out as I could, in like a 20-second period or whatever, right? And so my friend Warren said, don't, let me grab the pennies for you. And I said, why would I do that? He said, well, because I have bigger hands. I was 8 years old, so I didn't know the difference. And so what Warren convinced me was that because he had bigger hands, he could grab more pennies, and then he would give most of the pennies back to me. Well, Warren me being 8 years old, I agreed to this stupid deal. And Warren reached into the jar, grabbed all these pennies, and he put that shit in his pocket. He put every penny in his pocket and didn't give me shit. And that's when I learned back then that trickle down politics just does not work. So basically, Bernie Sanders, I think, is a guy that doesn't understand just how obnoxiously paternalistic white liberals can be. I don't think he understands the fascism that has seeped into the Democratic Party, where anybody who disagrees with their ideas gets squashed and stomped. I don't think he understands the dangers to the black man that the Me Too movement and white extremist feminism has caused to black people, where black men are scared to go, they're scared to ask a girl out on a date on their job because they're worried about about being, labeled a predator because because she don't want to go out with him or whatever. I mean, it's insane to me. It's very scary. So I think that just being in tune with these things would probably help them achieve their goal. But I don't think they want to be in tune. I had a conversation with Killer Mike. Killer Mike called me, and I said, yeah, your people, I know you rolling with Bernie, man, but I don't even know if that's a good idea. But I did tell him, I said, you better get Bernie on the phone with some of these black folks because they feeling ignored. They're feeling like Bernie's on another planet right now. And I don't know, maybe Bernie doesn't care. Maybe he's got enough white people backing him that he doesn't need our vote. And if that's the case, that's fine. Then, then I can't get mad at that. Then, okay, go let the white people get you elected, right? The other theory, do me a favor, before I move on, please stop for a second. Please hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button on the video so more people will see it. Also, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button and all that good stuff so you'll know when I go live. This is drboycetv.com. That's the URL if you want to come right back to the channel. And then there was, and then another theory that I had in terms of why Bernie Sanders did not get, black people showing out when he went to this church in South Carolina. I think that black people were heavily impacted by the Obama presidency. All he's got to go look at is what Obama did to black people. Let me tell you a couple of things Obama did to black folks. Both of these things are hurting the Democrats right now. Obama did two things, right? He either led black people to have a higher standard for what they expect from their politicians, right? Bill Clinton for many years was just kind of a black substitute. With Obama, people were excited because they got the real thing. They're like, wow, okay, we didn't know we had the option of having a real black man. Well, if given the choice between a real black man and a cool white guy, we're going to take the real black man, right? So Obama, for the people that loved him, and I wasn't a person that loved him. I don't love any politician, just so you know. But there were people that loved Obama. So for the people that loved Obama, it was like he was cool. He had class. He had this beautiful black wife. There's this beautiful family people identified with. Bernie Sanders doesn't have any of that. None of the Democratic candidates have any of that. Even the black Democratic candidates don't have that. Even Cory Booker and Kamala Harris don't have that. They are, it's like going to a restaurant where you get the perfect meal and you go back to that same restaurant and they give you the same meal, but it don't taste the same. They're trying their best to replicate what they gave you the first time, and you're like, this just ain't right. Just the sauce just ain't right. So ultimately, who was it? Ultimately, Kamala Harris, she can't be Barack Obama. She just can't. Cory Booker can't be Barack Obama. His old weird ass. Like, ain't nobody looking at him, and they don't see Obama when they look at him. So Obama set the bar high and set the expectation very high. The Democrats are having a very hard time matching that. Number two, there are some black people who were completely disillusioned by Obama, who started off, voted for him, were excited about him, maybe shed a tear when he got elected. We're looking forward to hope and change. We got all hyped up. We're expecting, the greatest thing in the world to the most wonderful outcomes from his presidency, right? And then they walked away pissed because they're like, wait a minute, this motherfucker he played us. He played us. Got us all excited, got us all voting for him, and ain't did nothing for black people. He did everything for his ass. There's a reason they named him the first gay president, because he did a hell of a lot for gay people, but didn't do nothing for no black folks. So ultimately, it's like, come in, your mom's in the shower. She's in the shower. She'll be out in a minute. Talking to the kids. Well, come back in a minute. I got to finish talking to my friends on my YouTube channel. Damn kids. What the hell, man? What the hell? Anyway, let's keep going. So with Obama, Obama upset a lot of people. Obama left a lot of people highly disillusioned. He left a lot of people mad, to the point where they're like, hurt me once, shame on you. Hurt me twice, shame on me. You're not playing us again. You're not fuck hope and change. Don't nobody get can't nobody pay no bills with no motherfucking hope. Can't nobody pay no bills with a promise. Like you need to give us tangible. That's where Obama is the reason that Tariq had this whole tangibles 2020 because he's using the word tangibles. Dr. Claude Anderson has consistently talked about tangibles. He's been talking about tangibles for 40 years. Black people just never listen because we're all into symbolism. But Dr. Claude Anderson has said, he said it in his book, that if you cannot take that benefit of that vote to the bank, if you can't cash it, and put it in your bank account, then it ain't worth shit. That's what Dr. Claude. So Obama is partly the reason that people are saying you need to pay us in advance. We're not going to take your word for it anymore because you've proven yourself to be liars. You took advantage of the person that we admired more than any politician in the history of this country. We've never admired a politician more than we admire Barack Obama, and he lied to us. And you acted like you didn't have another election coming around the corner where you'd be right back begging for our vote again. So at the end of the day, there are a lot of people who just don't believe any of these Democrats. They don't believe them. And the other interesting thing too is one tactic that they've always used to get black people to vote, to force them into voting, to you get peer pressure, is the threat and the fear of a Republican presidency. Whoever the Republican candidate is, they always turn that person into the devil. They always use fear as a tactic to control black voters. Why? Well, because they know black people are easily controlled by fear. They know that if they tell you that, oh, he's going to take away your welfare check, he's going to take away your affirmative action, he's going to put you back in slavery, he's going to show up at your house and kill your whole family, black people will show up and vote because we get scared. We scare very easily, right? Well, Trump, it's funny that Trump is probably the scariest of all Republican presidents, but there are a lot of black people who are not scared of Trump. There are a lot of black people who are saying, well, my life sucked before Obama. It sucked during Obama. It sucks during Trump. And it'll probably suck after the next election. So they're not looking at a Trump presidency as something that they fear. I think that the liberals have gotten it, they've made it trendy to sort of look at a Trump presidency as the end of the world and, oh, Lord Jesus, we all gonna die. We got to, anything's better than Trump. We all gotta vote because we gotta get him out of office. Well, that's a very basic tactic. What they're trying to get you to do is they're trying to get you to vote against Trump rather than voting for the candidate. I'm a person that is not going to be convinced to go vote against somebody. You're not going to get me to vote just because I'm afraid of who else might get into office. You need to show me why you deserve my time. Why do you deserve, why do you have the right to convince me to get up out of bed, leave my house, interrupt my day, and go and help you get into office? And so, if there are black people who disagree, I think that's fine. But I really think that where they're really slipping, where they're really messing up, is there are lots of black people who are thinking this way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do not think black people should be afraid. I really don't. I think you're on the right track. I think that by showing yourselves to be intelligent voters who are also relentless in terms of demanding what it is that you want, what they're doing is they're sitting in the back and they're saying, okay, how do we figure this out? How do we they're driving a hard bargain now. They're not political sluts anymore. They're not going to give it up easy anymore. So how are we going to give them more so that we can convince them to vote? That's why now, for example, here's a victory that you had. Before, wasn't nobody talking about no reparations. Wasn't nobody talking about reparations at all. Reparations, that conversation started on the internet, man. That conversation started with Jason Black and Tariq and Yvette and myself and Dr. Claude Anderson. I mean, that's where the conversation began. And now on MSNBC, they talk about reparations. So, and I think that's the way it should be. Rank and file black folks should not be following the lead of the black elite. The black elite should be following the lead of rank and file folks. And do I consider myself to be rank and file? Well, shit, I better be, because if I ain't accepted by y'all, I'm not accepted by anybody. Because I don't I'm not friends with those people. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't have anything against them. I'd be happy to support them and help them as long as what they're doing is authentic. But I used to get calls from CNN and MSNBC and all that. They don't call me anymore, and it's fine. I know why, because I'm dangerous. I'm too much of a loose cannon. They don't know what I'm gonna say. I don't go along with the agenda. If I think it's bullshit, I'm gonna call it as bullshit. And fortunately, I have an independent platform space, so I'm okay with that. But in general, I just want to make sure that the tail is not wagging the dog. The elite Negroes on TV, they need to be the tail. You are the dog. You are the head. You are the leaders. You are the ones who should push the agenda forward. And so things are happening exactly the way they should be. So for Bernie Sanders, what I would just say is I don't know if he's going to adjust his platform or not. I think that he's feeling very stubborn right now. I think that what they like to do is when black folks start to think for themselves and start to kind of push for a different agenda, what they like to do is explain to you why you're stupid, why you're voting against your interests, and why what's wrong with you black men, like Simone Sanders. I don't know, did y'all remember that? Simone Sanders, this black lady on CNN or whatever. I honestly think she's a lesbian. She got that. She don't look like no woman that most men would be attracted to. So I think that she's part of the LGBT community, but maybe not. Who knows? It don't matter. Either way, what she said was just stupid. But she basically attacked black men and blamed them for Trump getting in office. And then that stupid lady, Amanda Seals, who's basically a white feminist in blackface, she did the same thing. And so what they do is they don't, rather than trying to understand you, they simply try to tell you why you're wrong, right? That's it. That's what elitism does, right? Rather than trying to get where you're coming from, they just want to tell you that you're dumb. And I can just tell you, I probably had more education by the age of 25 than 90% of those people will ever have in their whole entire life. And I'm not joking. I was teaching college students at the age of 22, right? And I can tell you that you're on the right track. I can tell you, as a very smart man, as a man who is much smarter than all the talking heads on CNN, I can tell you that from a strategic standpoint, you are on the right track. And why are you on the right track? Because you're following your heart. You're following your instinct. You're following your intellect. Your intellect and the fact that you're intelligent enough to observe what's happening in the world. It says like something ain't right. Something ain't right. Like seriously, something ain't right. Like how the hell you gonna put the same damn party in office over and over and over again, and your shit ain't changing a bit? I mean, they won't even talk about none of your issues. Seriously, how you gonna put the same damn people in office over and over and over again, and nothing changes? You got to be a motherfucking retard to think that that shit makes any goddamn sense. Seriously, you got to be out of your fucking mind to think that that makes any fucking sense. 50 years. Here's the thing. Malcolm X was saying this 50 years ago, okay? I ain't new. These ideas are not new. I deserve no credit for generating any original idea from this podcast because there have been other people who've been saying this forever. Go listen to Malcolm talk about the white liberals and how racist they are. Go listen to him talk about it in 1965. Malcolm said it in the 60s. He told y'all that these liberals ain't shit, that they don't love you, they don't care nothing about you. He told y'all this. And so any insights I have are not nearly as courageous or insightful as what Malcolm had, because I've had 50 years of additional data to confirm what Malcolm said in 1964, 65. So this ain't crazy. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a weirdo. You're not a lunatic. You're not an idiot. I don't care what these did. The idiots are the people going on TV, parakeeting whatever the hell some white man told them to say. Those are the idiots. You're not the idiot, because everything that you're seeing and that you're observing and that you're reacting to is exactly what Malcolm and even Martin alluded to in the 1960s. So that's it. No reparations, no vote. I agree 100%. It's time to get real with this stuff, man. So I don't wish ill on Bernie Sanders. I think he means well for the people that he means well for. But if you're gonna act like you're too good to adjust to what black people want, then that means we're too good to give you our time at the polls. There you go. Yeah, so quit. Tick for tack. How about that? All right, so do me a favor, everybody. I'm about to go. My woman's waiting for me. So hit the thumbs up button. Please hit that thumbs up button before we go. Hit that thumbs up button. Also, please subscribe. And if you want a free e-copy of my book, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. And last but not least, we are on iTunes. So if you want to download the podcast on iTunes, please go to iTunes. And I see your comments, and I appreciate you guys. And again, I had to explain. Sometimes I don't respond to the comments right away because I don't want to get distracted. I want to try to get to the point. And tonight I had to be somewhat efficient because I got family here. And I got to spend some time with them, right? So you guys have a good night, and much love to all of you. And stay strong, stay black, stay educated.